Coming up next on Access Framingham TV, Pomerini Village in Tanzania, with my guests, Mr. Shadrack, Nyaulingo, Reverend Gregory Morisse, and Rob Schadt. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Jack Barron, host of Travels with Jack on Access Framingham TV, where guests share with our audience a recent trip, a vacation, a cruise, or maybe a day trip right here in New England. You'll see their photos and hear about the exciting places they have visited. On this month's show, I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Shadrack Nyaulingo, headmaster of the Pomerini Secondary School in Tanzania, East Africa. Joining him are the Reverend Gregory Morisse, senior pastor of the Plymouth Church, UCC in Framingham, and Rob Schadt, chairman of the Africa Exchange Project, an international outreach mission of the church. What parts of the world have you visited? Please be my guest on Travels with Jack and share your travel experience with our viewing audience. Just contact us here at Access Framingham Television and let us know you'd like to be a guest. You can phone AFTV at 508-875-5434, or you can send an email message to info@accessfram.tv. Our associate producer will contact you to make arrangements for you to be on our show here on Access Framingham TV. In Massachusetts, we would be pleased to assist with your travel to the Access Framingham studios, and if you're out of state as well. And now, let me welcome all of you to Travels with Jack. Well, welcome you, first of all, for your long trip from Tanzania to Framingham. That's quite a hike. So, Shadrack Nyaulingo works in the village of Pomerini, and you are the headmaster of the Pomerini Secondary School. His wife, Rosemary, is a teacher at a different school, and his two young daughters, Charity and Gladness, are young students active in another school. So you represent really three schools today.
Sure.
Rob Schadt, who's a resident here in town, is a member of the Plymouth Church here in Framingham. He is chair of the Africa Exchange Project, which operates within the Plymouth Church. Rob and his wife Maddie are frequent visitors to the complex in Tanzania, which the church is very involved in. And Rob will update us today on the show on some of the church's progress with their constant renewal of improving water, education, and health. And we have the Reverend Gregory Morisse with us. He is the senior pastor, although he looks like the junior pastor, of the Plymouth Church. And Pastor Greg is involved in the Africa Exchange and was part of the 2015 church delegation. Today we are sharing with our audience parts of the exchange work of bringing Tanzanians to the United States, and Shadrack is one of the church's guests. So it's a two-way situation. The church in Framingham goes to Tanzania, and the Tanzanians, did they bring you to the church yet? Yeah?
Sure.
Come to the church.
Yeah.
They won't take you, I'll take you. So, welcome, and it is a pleasure to have you. We're going to see some pictures when they start coming up. I talk when Bill starts throwing the pictures on the screen. But Rob, can you give us a little bit of update on what's going on with the church and Tanzania and health education. Sounds like HEW, health, education, and welfare. But go ahead.
Great. Well, Jack, thank you very much for welcoming us this way. My wife Maddie and I have had the pleasure of being on your show
before. I remember.
To tell a little bit about our visit to Tanzania and a little bit about our work. The Africa Exchange Project has been working for about 10 years, building relationships between the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Tanzania and the Plymouth Church here in Framingham. We started this work with an interest in helping with education, and a trip was taken in 2007. A number of us, 17 youth and adults, visited this village. And for all of us, it was the first time to visit Tanzania. At that time, we realized what a wonderful people they were, how welcoming they were for us. We also realized, although we went there to help build a kindergarten and help them with the schools, it seemed there was a more pressing problem, and that was the lack of fresh water in this region. Not only was water hard to find, it often wasn't very healthy, wasn't very clean. We also learned that women and children, mostly young girls, were carrying water for long distances. So we realized that if we would install fresh water wells, which we realized it was possible for us to install, that would provide clean, healthy water and also make the water more available. And in doing so, would help children who could then go to school without having to worry so much about water. And it would also change the lives of women so they could do more productive things. So that was a very important focus of our work. We've continued to do that. We also work with schools. We built a kindergarten, a vocational school, a primary school in the neighboring village, and now we're shifting our focus to the secondary school. We also,
where you are the headmaster.
Where Shadrack is our headmaster, and he has a very interesting story about his work and how he has been able to build the reputation and the effectiveness of that school. And lastly, I will say that healthcare is another one of the major challenges in this region.
You're kidding. You mean, I hope you're not going to follow the United States' healthcare plans to...
Well, I'd have to say that even as bad as our outcome might be, it's probably better than the limited resources that you would find in this village. The school and the dispensary are owned by the Lutheran Church.
Okay.
They aren't government owned institutions, and therefore the burden is on them to raise their own funds and to really manage them themselves, unlike here where we're the beneficiary of a lot of government support. That isn't the case in Tanzania. So our work has been focusing in these areas, and maybe I could say a little bit more as we proceed.
Okay. And Reverend, did you want to say anything?
Yeah. One of the youth on our most recent trip in 2015 said it best, that when we started going to this village, what we discovered was we had friends and family across the world. And when we learned about the needs for fresh water, when we learned about the opportunities for education and the needs for expanded healthcare, as Julia Ellis said, this is what you do for your family. This is what you do. You step up and you see how you can be helpful and how you can be useful. I had the privilege of going in 2015, and I made friends. I made friends with people who I still email back and forth now. I miss them. I can't wait to go back. I'm thrilled to have Shadrack here so that he and I can grow closer as friends and as coworkers in this life of making the world better for everybody we know.
Well, I will tell you this. I've spoken about it several times, but water is a global issue. And, we, I believe in the United States, take it a little bit too much for granted. But water is something you really need to protect. And you see from your country how challenging things are when you don't have good, clean water available.
Right.
And
it's all interlinked. So
really is.
Water is connected to education, is connected to healthcare. To do one is to
water
pull on
really
the string
is.
and realize the connections to the
I
other.
can't stress enough to our audience that water is a huge issue. And if you look at Africa, that is one continent that has huge water issues.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's Tanzania, and it's on the east coast of Africa. And it's probably maybe about 500 miles from the island of Madagascar, which we see over there to the right. And there's a little bit of a close-up. Mozambique is just south. What is this picture? Does anyone know what this is?
Yeah, I took this picture from an airplane when I was visiting the village, and the Iringa region is almost in the center, dead center of the country of Tanzania. And so I show it because it indicates there's a red clay which comprises much of the soil. It's very dry and arid region, and that also contributes to the shortages of water. But you see beauty in every place that you turn, not the least of which is the beauty of the people themselves. This is a photo, I think Greg took this one, and this is the Lutheran church in the village, where this is a very important area. The church is an integral part of village governance and infrastructure.
Very similar to how we have here in New England. There's the church on the town green.
Yep.
That's the church on the town green.
Do a lot of the villages have churches from different church groups globally? Is Christianity big in Tanzania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even there in the village, we have that Lutheran,
Yeah.
also Roman Catholic.
Oh, really? Oh, so you
Yeah.
have multi-denomination.
Yeah.
Oh,
Adventist Church is there. Maybe we miss the Muslim. We don't have mosque.
Mosques.
Yeah, and there are very few in our village. Yeah.
Okay.
The Muslim population is mostly on the coast.
On the west, on the east coast, or on
Yeah.
the? I know Western Africa, Nigeria has a big Muslim.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Let me see. These are all the little students.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
These are kindergartners.
Yep.
So one of the trades is sewing. They do a lot of sewing in that region. And again, the children are just beautiful. They're very happy to have you take their picture.
Yeah.
Oh, and you have uniforms.
Sure.
Well, our school
Yep.
kids mostly don't have uniforms.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that.
And of course, they're very colorful. We tried to bring some color to your studio here. I hope we have succeeded. But again, there is limited resources. There isn't. You have to make do with kind of what you have.
Yeah.
This is my wife Maddie. When we visited a few years ago, and she made friends immediately, as anyone would who visited. Shadrack, can you say something about what you're watching?
Yeah, that what you see is something that we use to keep tomatoes.
Basket.
You can just it's a basket that you can keep tomatoes, and also you can just keep bananas. So that is a local instrument that we have to carry this kind of things. Yeah, and those are the bricks.
Yeah.
Is growing vegetables very hard there with the shortage of water, or?
We are growing.
Yep.
We are growing because we have some water. We have some water, which is not safe. So that one we can just use to grow vegetables. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's not very far from where we...
And make bricks. You can use
yeah,
the bad
we use
water
that
for
one.
bricks.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
But that shows you the red clay of the region.
These are a couple of citizens.
That is Barnabas and his wife, and they managed to come to Plymouth Church. They visited. I mean, Barnabas came to this. It was 2014.
14.
Oh, he's been here too?
Yeah, yeah, yes,
oh,
He's been
okay.
here. Yep.
Yeah.
That's his wife,
His
in
wife.
her kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Shadrack's? This is your wife?
No.
Oh.
Barnabas' wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That is
Barnabas again.
Barnabas, and that is one of our students.
And that's his daughter.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That is the way from Iringa town now, from the village to Iringa town. You see that they are selling tomatoes.
Tomatoes,
They
yep.
are,
Looks like an Italian plum tomato.
yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a gift from your church.
Yeah, yeah. So when we were
I
there,
don't see your picture in there, Reverend.
yeah, I'm in there at the back. When we were there in 2015, we noticed this on the wall, and so they have us in their public spaces, and we have pictures of them on our walls in our church, so that whenever we're praying, we're remembering our friends. That's a picture of Ruth, who's one of our members who went on the trip.
And this is a young woman who was here in 2008 when a choir of 13
That's right.
Tanzanians came over.
Right.
Flaviana is that lady in the middle, and she was one of the choir.
Yeah.
So she's
Isn't
a
that
dear
wonderful that you all kind of know each other one way or another?
Absolutely.
friend. We do.
Yeah.
We're making friends.
Yeah.
And that's Ruth and Maddie again. These are Maasai. Maasai.
Oh, Maasai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a family tribe that still keeps his culture.
Yeah.
Its culture.
Now, this appears to be in front of a hotel or something.
Yeah.
This is in Tanzania.
It is, and
it's-
right. It's not. This is in Dar es Salaam, the entry point
Okay.
into the country.
Yeah.
So this is an urban area.
Okay, I was going to say, that looks pretty nice for,
Here is our retired bishop.
okay.
Yeah, retired bishop with the pastor in charge of the district, and the African Exchange Program had assisted us with the wiring, and we were connected with the electricity. So last year is when we had electricity since independence.
Yeah.
And this was a special inauguration that the bishop had come to just to market when we were there. Yeah.
Are you developing it all with the fact you have so much sunlight? Are you getting into solar power, solar electricity or anything there? You are.
Sure, we have the solar, but it's not producing enough.
No, it doesn't.
You cannot even run the photocopy
Oh,
machines
really?
and everything. So this electricity has just brought
You need both,
difference.
but it is making progress.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
I think there is plenty of solar power available. It's just that we haven't installed the panels, sufficient panels, to get over the hump, if you will, to make
so
it a
that's
more
something
major.
you're working on.
It is something in our future, but you should know that there is plenty of available solar.
Yeah.
It's just that we need more
Resources.
technology.
Yeah.
Right.
Money.
Yeah, sure.
Right, exactly.
All right, so here's the cattle drive, rawhide. Yep.
And children are working, very young. This young man is responsible for
Oh,
a lot
really?
of resources for his family.
Yeah. Oh, that is now is my wife.
Oh,
and
okay.
the two children. We were
Oh.
just talking. Yeah.
Gladness,
Gladness
and...
and charity.
oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I misled the audience a little. Gladness, I don't think it's in school yet. Well, maybe kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen, I mean, I'm sure there's so much work to do with, everything.
Sure.
Electric and You're really starting from scratch. Does the government give you any kind of assistance? Do they have a tax program? Do they have a revenue sharing? What kind of structure does the government of Tanzania have?
The government actually assisted the government, I mean the government schools,
Yeah.
which of course they receive every assistance from the government.
Okay.
But when you talk about Pomerini Secondary School, it's a church-owned school and is considered as a private-owned institution.
Right.
For that case, we need just to, the government does not support anything.
Right.
So what kind of schools does the government operate? Are they considered good schools? What kind of?
Well, they offer the primary school, so that
Okay.
is government supported. They
Yeah.
provide the teachers and the facilities to do that.
Yeah.
But a kindergarten is private, and we built
Really?
one
Okay.
to help get the youngsters started on their way to primary school. And there are government-owned secondary schools,
Yeah, yeah,
a few of them,
Yeah.
but most of the secondary schools are private.
Sure.
Oh, they are. You know, you find this, as I say, when I was in Cambodia, they had the same situation with a lack of public. We take it so for granted in the United States, but they didn't have a lot of public schools, and the kids, again, the children went to work very early,
Yeah.
and sometimes the families, out of their own needs, encourage the kids not to go to school but to work.
Right.
So it limits their futures a little bit. Oh, here we are with fresh water.
Sure.
So this is a well your church put in.
Yep.
Yes, all of the wells in this area have been installed through funds raised through the Africa Exchange Project. And our count is up to 42.
42.
42 wells.
42 wells.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah.
In Pomerini, and now we're going out to neighboring villages.
Yeah.
We put them by schools primarily, so that encourages more of the children to go to school and to be able to then bring water from school back home.
Yeah.
Oh, so you thought about how to do it.
And we really do take our lead from those who are in the village to say where does it make sense for the well to be. You know, they know the village better than we do. Costs about $3,000 to install a well, and
Oh, it does run that much.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Even there, really.
Right. You can see that this is a source of water, but the cattle are sharing this water as well. So, you know, to make it clear that although there is limited water, what is there, surface water, is not safe for.
Not palatable.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a very familiar scene. These are young kids at the well now heading home.
And are you starting some plumbing projects as well to run water from the wells to houses, or not quite there yet? No.
no.
No,
That's all right. I'm
these
just asking.
Yep, these are borehole wells. That's what you would describe them as. And there's a hand pump.
Yep.
So they don't have sufficient water flow for that kind of
And how
expansion.
far down do you find you have to drill to get to the water?
On average, 75 to 80 feet.
Okay.
And it's not that, relatively speaking, it's not that hard
No.
to do. And that's the limit of the well drilling rigs that we use.
Oh, there's a shortage there of deep well, the rigs as well.
The rigs have been put in place through a relationship that we have with a vocational school that teaches
How to
well
drill
drilling.
wells. Oh, really? Isn't
and
that great?
has the rigs. So it's through that relationship that we're able to provide the wells.
And does the
at that
school
price.
make the wells, the pumps and everything for you as well, or no?
No, I feel like I'm speaking too much here, Shadrack. Can you say something about the availability of of parts and supplies?
Yeah, there. You mean about the parts of the?
For the well.
Right. So where, since I'm so familiar with this, I may be better
That's all right.
positioned to speak
I'm
about.
happy to hear you, Mr. Schadt.
But that particular well pump came from India. The parts aren't manufactured in Tanzania. At
Okay.
least we haven't found them yet. We have imported them from India, but now much of that manufacturing is coming from China.
Okay.
So that's another, there are many pieces that need to be coordinated
Right.
to make this work. So we do, to the extent that it's difficult to get replacement parts and well pumps, it kind of limits the progress that we can make.
Now, is the Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, are they involved in water? Not with your group, but in water? Isn't that one of their big programs that they do?
I believe so. I don't know that they feature this in their outreach, work. I know that Matt Damon has
really?
been very visible in a water project that has a lot more sort of publicity
Than yours.
potential than we're able to. But
Well,
these are very familiar scenes.
You'll pass your video from Travels with Jack to all the
Right.
charities, and you'll put it on the church network, and you'll say, send money. Well,
Right.
they don't have to send it to Jack, but send it to,
Right.
send it to your Africa outreach program.
Right. Well, any of donations, large or small, are equally well appreciated.
Yeah, yeah.
And before we hit another picture, you can tell them where to send funds if they want to the.
Great. We have a website for our project, which is pretty what you'd imagine. It's called AfricaExchangeProject.org.
Perfect.
So you can go there, learn about the history of our project, the current work we're involved in, and of course, the button to click for online donations to support our work and to help us make a difference in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Education showed. This is your.
My
Is this
school.
your school?
That is my school.
So tell me how many students you have at the school. Looks like a lot.
Yes,
That's a small fraction.
we have students. I don't know in America, but we call Form 1 up to Form 6. Form 1 to Form 6, maybe from grade 7, I don't know,
Yeah,
grade
7
to 12.
7 to
Oh,
12.
okay.
Yeah. And in my school, it's co-education. We have girls and boys.
Yep.
And they are 720.
Oh, so it's a big school.
Yeah, 720. And you can see now that is one of the class. Does not look similar to the classes which I saw at Framingham High School. Yeah. So that is our school.
720 kids. So about 100, a little more than 100 in each grade.
Yeah, sure.
You got about 120 students per grade.
Sure, it's true. And that is a primary school which is nearby our school. And yeah, that is kindergarten.
Now, in Tanzania, is there a native language or everyone speaks English these days? I see the alphabet. That's why I ask.
Yeah, in secondary school, the medium of communication is English.
Okay.
But our national language is Kiswahili.
Okay.
And also we have our mother tongue. So Kiswahili comes as a second language, but that is regarded as our national language. So in secondary schools, the medium of communication is English. So all subjects are taught in English.
Now, forgive my ignorance, what is the background of Tanzania? What was it originally, for example, in the 1700s? Was it called Tanzania then, or was it a British colonial country or anything, or?
It's English.
It was British.
Yeah, it
okay.
was British.
And what did they have? Did it have a name before Tanzania?
Yes, our country is called Republic of Tanzania.
Yep.
Our country there was a unification of two countries.
Oh, okay.
So it's Tanganyika. It's called the Tanganyika, and the other party, coastal party, is called the Zanzibar.
Oh,
So
yes. I
we-
remember somebody was telling me
So
that. Okay.
1964 is when
They
these
merged.
two countries were merged.
Zanzibar, I think,
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
Bob Hope movie, I think. Yeah. That's how I learned, you know.
Yeah.
That looks like you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
in my office. Yeah. That is a common breakfast that the students are taking, and it's called the porridge.
Okay, and you make the
Yeah,
porridge
you
from
make
what?
Porridge from the corn flour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maize flour.
Now this is what? New construction.
That is administration block. This school started so many years. It was 1960. Most of the buildings were built 1960. So they need radical renovation. So we were challenged that we don't have administration block by the inspectors of the school. So we started building last year this administration block, so that the head of school, the second master, the academic officers, and the other leaders, management, top management, to have a space to sit and have a point that you can just read your school peaceful.
Right.
So we have started that work, and we say that in order to, in our community, in order to ask for a support, at least you need it just to lay a foundation.
Right.
We have reached to the beam. We need to go to roofing part.
Right.
So that's why I'm here also. Just I appreciate what African Exchange Project they are doing, and we want just to work together. The challenges that we have, we need just to face together. We believe that when two things, or two, we can just work together. We will not work alone. We can just come to the point and finish that administration block. Yeah.
So you're ready for roofing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a picture of the students. So they, oh, there we go. This is a classroom.
This is, I can just, it's a laboratory, and the students are performing experiments. But you can see that, that room that we call laboratory.
Yep.
Of course, we as a country, I mean, we need to move. Our country thinks of moving from where it is to the mid-economy based on industries. So, you can see we have the laboratory, but actually it's very small. It has so many challenges. So what we are supposed to do, we think of building the administration block that will accommodate physics, chemistry, and biology. We need just to prepare our students to match with the current slogan that we are moving from where we are to the mid-economy based
So
on
you're
industries.
saying to your students, if we're going to be a more advanced economy,
Yeah.
you need to learn the physics, chemistry, biology.
So that we can have people who will just go for medicine, become doctor of medicine, mathematicians, so as to match with the slogan of our country, moving to industrial country. That is a slogan that the new president has been always talking about.
So they want you to help prepare your citizens to be
Sure.
more advanced technically.
It's what we want to.
Right.
In our education, it's called STEM:
Right.
science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
You're saying here in the U.S.
That's
we
right.
call it STEM?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's a focus here as well.
Yeah.
And although they don't call it that, they're
The same thing.
Right. We're working towards the same understanding.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a university program in Tanzania?
Yeah, we have universities.
Okay.
Now, with our students, if we will just introduce combinations, science combination, it means that when they finish, they will just join different universities. We have Dar es Salaam University, we have Muhimbili University of Health Sciences, we have the Iringa University, which is owned by Evangelical Lutheran Church in Tanzania.
Oh, you run a university. Now, is that part of your Africa exchange? No, separate, but
Yeah.
connected with your church.
Yes, that is connected with our church, I mean Tanzania,
With the Lutheran Church.
with
right?
Lutheran Church. And there are different different courses that the university is offering. Also, we have also mathematics course. And I went through that university.
So the churches are very
Yeah.
heavily involved there.
Yeah.
Right. It's true.
That's wonderful. No, I think that's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, the church really steps in and fills the gap that that is present because of lack of resources from the government.
Sure.
No, I think that's great that the churches do that. So this is another classroom. This is younger children, maybe?
This is the kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Okay.
The person who is really the founder of our project is a former member of our congregation who moved with his family. They moved to Vermont. But he was the person who first went and discovered this village and came back and shared with us what wonderful people they were and what a great opportunity it would be for us to form a relationship there. So he guided us in the early years through this project, and his name is Bob Ahern, and we would not be sitting with you now if it were not for Bob and his love.
vision.
His vision and his love of these people.
Yeah, there is dispensary that is close to our school, and when our students become sick, it's an immediate place where we can just take them. But this is a dispensary, and when you talk about dispensary, it means that it's the lowest level of services, medical, that it can just provide.
You know what, though? It's a good way to start. At least you've got somebody nearby,
Yeah,
local,
yeah,
that you're comfortable with.
yeah.
And I think that I go to a clinic in my town. It's a little bigger, but it's the same theory. It's close to me and nearby. Makes it easier. Instead of going downtown to a big hospital.
Yeah.
You don't always need a big hospital. Oh, he's being weighed.
Because of lack of facilities for health care, they will set up Health Day, and they will go to the school,
Yep.
a primary school in this case, and they will do some physical exam of the children and get some information that if there are any major problems, then they might be able to get a jump on how to make sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, when I saw you weighing that little student, we sell a thing here in the United States to weigh luggage. It's about this big. You put a couple of batteries in it, you lift the luggage, and it gives you the kilos.
Yeah.
I was going to say you could do the same thing with the little kid.
Right. This is outside of the dispensary. USAID is the American arm of development for the American government, and they're providing some help, primarily with AIDS relief. That's really
That's
the
where the
focus.
U.S. comes in.
Yeah.
Are we helping with food as well? or not so much?
I'm not aware of specific programs.
Okay.
But AIDS relief is one that...
A big issue.
Yeah.
Is AIDS a big problem in your area? Really?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Now this is Mungu Barik.
Mungu Bariki Clinic ya Pomerini. God bless the Pomerini dispensary.
Oh, this is part of the dispensary. Okay.
Yeah, this is part of dispensary, and that is Godfrey, the in charge of the dispensary, and the Hawa. They are just diagnosing the patient. Yeah.
Now let me ask you, what is your general age group that you would say the young women are getting married at?
Pardon? Are you mean?
He's wondering generally, at what age do girls marry?
Yeah, when he reaches 18 years
18,
old.
okay.
Yeah, 18 years old. But that is a debate because we want them to go to school.
Okay.
Yeah, in case that the girl will not access to school, 18 years is allowed to get married, but we want them to be at school.
So you'd like to see them marry a little later?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure.
18 though, that's the minimum age.
Yeah, it's true.
Really, you know, in the United States, many states is younger. Many states in the United States, you can marry 14.
Okay.
Really, yeah. So 18 is older than you think.
It's 18, yeah. So that is a kind of dispenser that we have, and it serves about people surrounding 10,700. There are
Really?
so many,
Yeah.
and most of the time when someone is sick, she or he taken to the hospital, and you feel that is getting the first aid, and he immediately get the referral to Iringa town, which is 35 miles from our village.
From Pomerini.
So it's very
Yep.
far. We think of if this dispenser will be upgraded,
Right.
we want it to have the laboratories. And if the laboratory will be there, of course the government is ready just to bring the doctors, is ready to bring the nurses, is ready to be... It's different.
So the government will
Yeah.
help you
Of course.
a little bit.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
With-
And will repay those workers.
Right.
Oh, really?
What we are supposed to have is to have the laboratory.
Right.
Okay.
So that it can be upgraded to health center. With the health center, then the government will be ready to assist everything. Pay
Really?
the
So if
workers.
the government sees that you have a laboratory
Yeah,
at your dispensary,
sure.
they will then designate you to get more money and resources? Really?
Yeah. They will just help you.
They will help you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But they will not build it for you.
Never be.
So that's where the
Catch 22. So they say, we'll help you if you find the money to build it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
but then they will staff it
Right.
and pay the
Staff it.
salaries.
Yeah.
of the
Really?
staff.
Okay.
Yeah. But you'll be supposed to buy medicine.
Right.
You
Only
have to buy.
staffing?
They won't give you medicine. They just give you. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll just pay the workers. Yeah, and provide you with medicine and what you'll be supposed just
You
to
need
buy.
a smartphone factory.
Yeah.
You need something like a Samsung plant. They'll tell them you want to assemble telephones, and they'll put everything together for you.
Right. That's why the educational programs are now more in science and engineering and chemistry.
Yeah.
Now this group is coming home from school.
Yes, they're on the road. You'll see many young family. This is a
Beautiful.
family, I imagine.
Okay. And these are all the mothers waiting for the kids to come home.
No, well, they're standing outside of church actually.
Oh,
right
okay.
Now. They'll.
They are singing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're waiting for the final blessings.
Right.
I think
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now who's this? The medicine man?
That is a shopkeeper.
Okay.
So it's like a general store. This is where you might go to buy some clothing.
Sure.
An open market.
An open market, right?
Yeah.
These
The
are
kids all like to have their pictures taken,
Oh
huh?
yeah, very much. Yeah. These are orphan children, by the way. of
Oh,
which,
really?
These are a casualty of the AIDS crisis there. So this is an orphanage that we support. Or we have supported in the past as well. A friend of yours, I think.
This is one of the members of church.
Okay.
Yeah, very close, and this is a parish worker in our church.
I love the fabrics with the
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
really. Are these fabrics made nearby or no?
Yeah, it's not in our region, but
Okay.
it's from Dar es Salaam, where there is a manufacturing industry.
We had, I was at a lecture once, and they were talking about in Africa that a lot of the local manufacturing of the fabrics has stopped because the India and China are doing so many fabrics automated that they're not getting the business like they used to make the fabrics by hand. But for export purposes, handmade fabrics like this is a great item to sell in the U.S.
Yeah,
We'll pay for it.
That is very true. Most of our industry were closed, and I'm just happy with the new president. Now he has been insisting about reviving those industries, reopening of those industries. Is inviting foreign investors just to come to our country, and he has made very clear that we should prepare ourselves for our country to be industrialized, and he is doing everything he could to make sure that at least this dream comes true.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
That was a shopkeeper.
okay.
That young lady.
And that's a young man, very handsome.
Yes.
I like his shirt.
They're beautiful people, very dignified, kind, graceful. I can't imagine a more wonderful people in the world. And they're very industrious. That girl was making, pounding corn maze to make flour. So they start them working very young.
Well,
These are
you know,
kindergartners.
do the parents complain that they don't want their children working at a young age, or does it seem something they feel is helpful to teach the kids that work is a good thing?
Most of the parents, they are so happy seeing their children working,
Yeah.
and they insist that they should just work, because that is something that is very important. That
Productive. Makes them productive.
Yeah. That's why.
That's an argument I get in with friends. I say to them, you know, my kids, who they'll yell at me anyway, but they went to work when they were 15 years old. I told them you could get a job. My son worked in a supermarket. My daughter worked in a restaurant young. I said, you know, you don't have to work full time. I said, but it's good for you to learn to work. So when all these people say to me, oh my God, look at these beautiful children, they're working terribly. I'm not so sure it's always so, I mean, within reason.
Right.
Within reason.
Sometimes the work gets in the way of going to school.
Yeah,
and being
I
able
think
to
that's the
prioritize
fear,
the
yes.
education.
Yeah.
And
But I
that's-
think a little bit of working on the farm, helping
Yeah.
mom with the getting water and stuff is
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
Now this is one of the older folks. He's got a Burberry hat on. He's showing us.
Yeah, right.
He's a carpenter, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know him.
Yeah.
I know him, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, I've met him many years ago, and when I visit again, we always say hello.
Oh, there's the Reverend.
There we are.
He's got his WGBH shirt.
I'm trying to represent public radio. On my right is assistant to the bishop, Pastor
Yeah,
Saga.
now he's the assistant to the bishop on the
and
left.
on the left is
On
the
the right
pastor
is
and the
pastor in charge of the district.
Pastor Shavala.
the gentleman on the left has visited here several times in connection with our project.
Did you have an opportunity to do a service there?
Yeah, I actually was privileged enough to preach while I was there, and had the opportunity to share and worship with the community. It was
That
one of
had
the
to
high
be very
points.
nice.
Absolutely. It's very humbled.
And Shadrack preached to our congregation this past week.
Yeah, and let the
Wonderful.
record show, he did a much better job here than I did there. He really was extraordinary.
Yeah, so.
Well, that I would think if I was a reverend or a preacher, I would enjoy that. Is
was-
doing a service in a foreign country like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a.
Baobab trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a class.
Found. Yeah.
Yeah. This is-
I love everybody's all dressed up so nicely and
primary
everything.
school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I wish our kids looked like that. You should see our students.
Right.
Did he get to see students at Framingham High?
Yeah.
I went there.
Were you shocked how they dress?
Yes, sure.
See?
Because it's different from us.
Yeah, I know it.
We put on uniforms. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I
got
see
their
that they
pants
are
falling
free.
down,
Yeah,
their shirts are all untucked.
Yeah.
This is these are friends of yours, Greg, right?
Yeah, this is Pastor Faust and his family.
Oh, another pastor.
Yeah. I believe he's left the
Now
village.
he left
and-
to another congregation.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
they've brought a new pastor. in
Yeah,
our
but he was one of the hosts of the delegation while we
Yeah.
were there.
Beautiful family.
Yeah.
And the sewing. See, that's important.
congregation. Yeah.
This is the lady who made Greg's shirt.
I'm telling you, this is something you could make your town. You got to they'll help you.
Right.
You get branded Pomerini custom fabrics, and you have all these beautiful fabrics,
Yeah.
and you'll go sell them. There's a big fabric store here in Framingham. Go see them.
Right.
They'll carry the line exclusively.
Right.
I
Yeah, I'm
think
telling
now we
you.
have electricity since last year.
Yeah.
Things it's possible now for people just to.
But
do
I
that
mean, if
work.
these fabrics we
Yeah.
can't get here. This
Yeah.
is stuff we don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This lady works with the church.
Yeah, it's a parish worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are all neighbors and friends.
Yeah, this is famous Mama Ton.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she has been preparing food when visitors come to our.
Did
to
you get a
visit us.
sense there was a pretty good equality with men and women there? What was your feeling?
You've been more than I have.
What's your sense? Everybody has their own roles?
Well, women are very industrious, and
Okay.
they have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
They need to, care for the children, and also children care for their siblings. The women need to gather wood for fire in order to boil water or for cooking. The men are farmers, and they bring the vegetables and other things to the home, but then any preparation needs to be done by the women or children.
So they say, would you say the roles are pretty much separated? In other words, would the male farmer come in and help his wife with the cooking and the dishes like we do?
What I see here is quite different. I mean that we have.
You have more
For
separation.
example, I saw Robbie cooking with his
Yeah,
wife.
we do.
You two
We
together.
do.
I
We
went
do
to
everything.
another house. I found the same thing.
Yes.
But in Tanzania,
No, it wouldn't be.
no, that is a duty of our.
See, like
wives.
my house,
Yeah.
my wife says she doesn't want me to do any cooking. She thinks I'm terrible.
Okay.
But she doesn't mind me washing the dishes,
Yeah.
taking the dishes out of the dish machine. I get all what we call the labor. She just directs.
I've learned something. When I go back, I'm going to help my wife to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what
You could
I
say I
got
learned
from
that
her.
in America.
Yeah.
But be careful. The other men may talk to you and say,
Right.
not such a good idea.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'll tell them that that's none of their business. I want just to.
Look what he learned in America. He's
Right.
cleaning and cooking. And,
Right.
That is something great. Even washing.
Yeah.
Water.
Oh, men do not do in our country.
Oh, so you
That
really
is
do
the
have a
work-
very
yeah,
separation.
Yeah.
Well, you know why we do it that way here? Because here, so many of the couples, both people work today.
Yeah.
The women work in offices or teaching or whatever. The men are working. So you don't have enough time to do everything, so they have to help each other.
Sure.
It's really an economic decision.
Sure. I see it's great.
Well,
Yeah.
it is the way it
It's
is.
something that we need to take.
I love all the pictures.
I think that's part of the beauty of this exchange is not just the work that we do in water and education and healthcare, but learning from one another, learning what works
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
learning what
sure.
works here.
It's true.
We haven't figured everything out here, and so
No.
we get to learn from them.
And it's constantly changing.
Absolutely,
It really does.
absolutely.
But you know, the truth is, you know, the economy drives so many things. Like, for example, I asked you how old the girls were.
Yeah.
18, you said they get married. You know, in the United States today, amongst, I'm going to be very clear, so no nasty letters to Jack, amongst educated, well-educated people, they're marrying, the women are marrying 32, the men 37.
Right.
18, those days are over. They're telling me we're finishing up the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Jack.
I'm not going to reach over. Wonderful to have you.
Great to have
Thank you,
you.
Jack.
You'll bring me another guest the next time you bring them back for maybe,
Absolutely.
and you'll bring a Travels with Jack show, a DVD to the community there in Pomerini, and show them all you were on our show.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.